I will request our technical head, Mitra sir, to please welcome our guest lecturer, Dr. Abhas Mitra, with the Bogya class. A hearty hello to all my fellow science lovers and geeks who are gathered here. Live long and prosper. I am Kalyani, head lecture series at the Mega event Conscientia 2019. I'm extremely delighted, flattered, and humbled to be here this afternoon, setting about to introduce our illustrious speaker, Dr. Abhas Mitra. As the matter comes out, Google, unlike true black hole, is a store of information. But Google knows a lot about our esteemed speaker and his work, as he happens to be one of the most searched Indian physicists and also the most mentioned Indian physicists on web consistently for the past few years. He's also making India proud with the validation he gets from the experimental findings from the elite universities like of Harvard. About the speaker, Dr. Abhas Mitra, superannuated as a head theoretical physics section, Baba Atomic Research Center, and is currently an adjunct professor in Hamidabad National Institute, Mumbai. He qualified as a senior research associate in Goddard Space Flight Center, NASA in 2004 and 2006, worked as a visiting professor in Max Planck Institute of Nuclear Physics, Heidelberg. His research spans a width of variety far broader than the electromagnetic spectrum. Gamma ray astronomy, high-energy astrophysics, classical mechanics, general relativity, cosmology, and gravitational collapse, just to name a few. The pioneer of cosmic gamma ray bursts, Dr. Mitra, has authored almost 120 research papers and an impressive number of book chapters, to which stands the testimony, his immense expertise and experience in his field. So, if black holes were God, Dr. Mitra is a firm atheist. Accompanied in the belief by Einstein himself, advocating the view that true black holes don't exist, predicting all that truly exists are quasi-black holes and eternally collapsing objects. Let's step into cosmos, as Conscientia 2019 urges you. Into the cosmos of Dr. Abhas Mitra, its architect, let's hear it from him as to why he believes that this cosmos is indeed the cosmos we inhabit and are trying to make sense of. Let this room not be an even horizon for the applause from the audience. You can about as loud as you can and let the sound waves escape into the cosmos. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a true black engineer whose device is as fascinating and attractive as his theories. It's a unit for the Goya black holes, presenting to you Dr. Abhas Mitra.
So good evening, everybody, faculty members and dear students. It is a great matter of great pleasure to be here. I did not know much about this institute. I had only heard about it few years back, and I thought it would be an insignificant institute because I didn't know what to know so much about it. But having come here, my idea has changed. I find it is a very unique institute and only small, only 800 students, but still you have significant achievements for the number of applications and technological applications and patients. And I am envious of the students who are here because this is the only really launch pad for future space scientists. That is, there is no other institute. In Osmania University has a program that is the old university in astronomy, astrophysics. So there is no other place where one can have a MSc degree in astronomy, astrophysics. So here you have masters in astronomy, astrophysics. I hope it is a modern course, and also various engineering physics course which is related to aerospace engineering. So and those who are in aerospace engineering, so they have a preference. I think they will get a preference in joining ISRO, and they are having a first-hand experience in some of the many of these projects rocketry. So that is unique not only in India but maybe world also. If not unique, very rare opportunities. So that way you are very fortunate. And congratulations for organizing Conscientia, if I have pronounced it rightly, with ninth edition. And it is an astronomy. And only I have attended many tech tests. And here also emphasis is on astronomy in particular. So that is great going. And I am grateful to this organizing committee for inviting me here, and particularly to Jaya Kalyani for kindly inviting me here and encouraging me to come here. And also for the last since yesterday, Chirag has been giving me very good company, not just time pass but intellectual company. So I am very impressed with his knowledge of astrophysics and his curiosity, and I think many others may have that. So I am very glad to be here. And Jaya told me particularly that you talk about your work. Many places they want some people talk story about your lives and then some inspirational things. So see what's in the core of the matter. And so I will come to that physics and I try to convey it from some school level physics. See, first school level physics, in order to have some idea about complex objects in astrophysics. So we can start with acceleration due to gravity. You have a laser pointer? No. If not, no, if this will do. So this acceleration due to gravity, we know. On the if apple is falling on hitting Earth's surface, it does so with an acceleration of around 9.8 meter per second square. So that is the strength of the gravity of Earth. So this, this is an important quantity. And next, in order to convey about the other compact objects, the sun is one thing is sun. If the sun has to know this acceleration due to gravity is around maybe 30 times more than what we have on Earth. So we can say Earth, sun's gravity is 30 times stronger. And then comes this thing, the compact objects. You all know. Here you have you observe night sky sometimes, and somebody pointed out Sirius. I think Jaya only is taken. So Sirius actually is a white one. It's a compact star. So it is a star of mass of almost one solar mass, but size is much smaller. Size is only the yes. So this has radius only one hand, so that makes its gravity very strong. Acceleration due to gravity for the white dwarf is almost 1 million times larger than we see on Earth. So that is a very strong gravity. So it is one of the first compact objects we knew of in 1926 or 27. already we are knowing what terms of physics. And in the timer is 60, I think. What timer you use the timer? No. Then I without slides. We show it this way. This page down is not working. No, next one. Look. I have problem. Go back. Or you start from the beginning. Start from the beginning. Okay, that is the new concept. The new concept also you will know. New concept is ultra compact. And its size is not large, but of a small town, 10 kilometers radius, and mass is again comparable to that of Sun. So it is much more compact, and R is very small. And gravity is almost trillion times that of Earth, trillion times. So that is tremendous. Yeah. Better. So neutron star is very compact. In fact, neutron star will have many observations. 1967 pulsars were found. That time there are debate what is the true nature of the pulsars. Then we knew that it is most likely neutron stars. And neutron stars have strong magnetic field. The Earth has magnetic field of few Gauss at its surface. So white dwarfs have much stronger magnetic field. And neutron star gravitation magnetic field also almost trillion times strong. So there is a correlation between G and the strength of magnetic field also almost trillion times stronger than the Earth. And if it rotates, magnetic field rotates, then by the laws of electrodynamics, it creates electric strong electric field around it. And that electric field actually pulls out charges from the body of the neutron star. And they emit radio radiation. So we have pulsar kind of phenomena modulated by the spin period of the neutron star and pulsar neutron star. This much we know for certain. But there is a problem here. The white dwarf, there's an upper mass limit, white dwarf mass, which is 1.4 around, for which are the secret famous. Neutron stars have also upper mass limit, only around 3 solar masses. But we know of compact objects, particularly from 1950 onwards, when radio telescopes started coming. There are compact objects which are much more massive, which could be a million times more massive than the Sun, even billion times more massive than the Sun. Then as extra astronomy developed, we found that within our galaxy also there are compact objects, which could be 10 times, 20 times, 30 times more massive than the Sun. So they cannot be neutron stars. So neutron stars have only mass of 6 solar mass. Then what happens? Then the idea of black hole was already there. Function. Idea of black hole was also there. In 1915, Einstein developed his general theory of relativity. And then the first thing they tried to solve is single point mass. That is because general relativity, even now, it is very difficult to find any solution. So single point mass, and single point mass, it has they assume that it was initially arbitrary mass. Then there is a gravitational field around it, and and that red line boundary is literally a red line that within it, gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can emit, and that is called event horizon. So nothing can escape. You cannot see the intent. It's so strong. So even if I try to say flash out light, light won't go out. Light will move inward towards the center. And the single point that is the single light is where gravity is infinite, density is infinite. So this idea of black hole emanated from a solution in 1916 by many. However, there are a lot of problems with the solution. When you assume that it is mass is finite, problem is that up to this event horizon, you can describe things nicely beyond. But when you go to the event horizon, many physical things go haywire. Technically, something goes infinite, here badly. And inside, as the space becomes time, mathematics you pursue the mathematics, and time becomes space. Now, this is not understandable. Nobody understands it now. So Einstein rejected this idea. And many forefathers of general relativity, they said, okay, the solution is there, but it is just a mathematical solution, not a physical solution. So there cannot be any black holes. And the radius r is twice the m, where m is the mass of the point particle. That is the gravitational mass. There are other constants, gn over c square. I have suppressed g and c. In high energy physics, we do this. Actually, it is 2gn over c square. So although the solution was there, Einstein and others say, no, nothing doing. It is just you cannot take it seriously. Such things cannot occur in nature. But later, mathematicians came. They said, okay, you are having problem. The space becomes time, time becomes space. We can derive new coordinates. In special relativity, you can have mix of time and space, and we can have new coordinates in which we can define new time coordinates. Then time remains time, space remains space. But that is only partially true because originally, in some coordinates, time becomes space, and space becoming time, which is not understandable, and many unphysical properties are there. Even though you can do mathematical tracing. So physicists did not believe it. Even 1939 years later, this Chirac Einstein wrote paper in physical theory that why black holes should not form, black hole cannot form. And the same year, physical review, their first solution was given. So people thought stars, collapse, they may not produce black holes. But Oppenheimer and Snyder, famous American physicist, Oppenheimer is associated with the atom bomb, the atom bomb Manhattan project. He was the director of Manhattan. So they studied a solution that somehow star is collapsing, and they then showed that black holes can form. But that solution was very unphysical. They took pressure is equal to zero. If I take pressure is equal to zero, no support, everything will fall. This ceiling will fall unless this wall support will support. So that will the national everything will fall down. So that solution is completely unphysical that way. But at least that way it showed that black holes should form. And people took it that seriously, quite seriously. And meanwhile, Second World War ended and new telescopes were discovered. In the 1950s, then we discovered quasars. So as I said, many billion or several billion compact objects, they are massive. And what is the nature, they were a debate. Then finally, by 1960s, people told maybe this one is the black holes, which is indicated by this solution. Even though Einstein was objected, many objected because there is no alternative. Neutron stars are only few solar masses. They must be black holes. And the black hole paradigm grew. And mathematicians are also doing, they are doing new coordinate, another new coordinate by 60s. Still actual problem. So I am showing here this. This is famous Paul Dirac. Paul Dirac is very famous physicist. So all these things, concept of spin came from actually from Dirac. And Dirac, of course, is a Nobel laureate, but he is much more than Nobel laureate. And he is not only particle physics, quantum mechanics, but he is a fundamental work on the general relativity also. So 1962, when black hole paradox was almost established, so Dirac wrote this paper that there should not be exact black holes. One cannot, if there cannot be a particle smaller than 2m. So that red line cannot be violated, which Einstein everybody was telling. So no point singularity. So something, if a star is there, it has to be big, extended, bigger than Dirac. Dirac told this. But Dirac's thing was also overlooked. So Dirac could not show, Dirac or anybody, Einstein actually, how this should be prevented. They could not show convincingly. So Dirac, such a personality, still this paper, he argued that there are confusions in black hole, but why it can be prevented? Convincing answer was not given. And many people went on when black hole paradigm established in the 60s. Many physicists have been complaining that you are telling black holes, but there is fundamental problem with this thing. And I am citing one paper. This is the very famous Indian astrophysicist, Jayannath, everyone knows Jayannath. And it is that time this student was there, Anu Padmanabhan, who is from Kerala, who is also a very famous physicist in his own right. See, this paper 1988, they are writing. It is shown that inconsistencies arise. When you look up a Schwarzschild solution, the black hole solution, they are ending that the discussion of physical behavior of black holes, all are physical. Right? Whether classical or even quantum is of academic interest. This is mathematical solution. As late as 1988, the event horizon did not fall. The problems can be due to event horizon did not fall. And universe concentrated only quasi black holes. Essentially, this is the same thing Einstein did at Hamilton. That you have seen now black holes. Einstein did not see black holes. But those are only quasi black holes. That is, they are almost as compact, but they have not crossed the red line. Just slightly maybe bigger than the red line. When you cross the red line, all problems, all no problems. So this is what, but they also could not show how it can be prevented. So this is how all the big people are telling people are the Okay, so I also, so all the astrophysicists think that black holes are real because we are observing and and there is no alternative. I was also there. I was also working. I also looked into black holes. But then one thing, one problem arose in there is something called cosmic gamma ray bursts. They are the biggest explosion. By 1997, it became clear they are the very far away sources and very biggest. They say biggest explosion after Big Bang. And their origin is not. Before that, we knew another big explosion, which is called supernova burst. Many of you have heard. Supernova burst is also extremely massive. So during a supernova burst, the luminosity of the object, the erupting star, would be billion trillion times that sun for a few seconds. And their origin is known how supernova form. Mostly it is mostly one type supernova burst because a neutron star is formed. A neutron star is formed and its gravitational binding energy is radiated at that time. It is a blast. That is the supernova burst. And people understand that. But then if something is more massive than that, much more, and then it becomes clear this gamma ray burst would be 1,000 times more luminous, more powerful than supernova burst. Then what is their energy? In terms of pull-ups, you cannot tell. Because earlier you were telling the black holes are something from which nothing can escape. And if a black hole, if a pull-up should produce neutron star, you have powerful supernova. That is the idea. But if black hole would be formed, you have weak supernova. That was the idea up to 1997 or so. But now there is no way out. Again, people just tinkered with the theory and they said, somehow black holes are formed and only then this gamma ray burst happened. There was fundamental inconsistency. And that time, that led me thinking that I was thinking, maybe I was wrong, Einstein was correct. And maybe exact black holes are not found, something solid is found, compact, which is beyond the red line. So I studied, I had some elementary relativity, but particularly gravitational pull-ups I started with my insight, which is my actually capital, scholastic knowledge, but more than insight. And I found there is a relation, it is telling that exact black hole should not form. importantly, when the star collapses, first something called, before it black hole will be formed, something called trap surface is formed. And this black hole interior trap surface, that is why Hawking and Penrose they get similarity theorem. They assume that trap surface is formed. Trap surface is something like event horizon. So from here, nothing can go out, not even light. And inside the trap surface, even light has to go inside. If such a scenario is produced, of course, things should merge to a point, which is Hawking and Penrose similarity theory. But I showed, at least I claimed that trap surfaces do not form. The problem is at the root assumption. That assumption is wrong. Trap surfaces should not form. I did not find. There was some confusion in my thing, of course. I am not alone. Much later I removed it. So that's it. I said two papers in physical review later, and those papers were reviewed. In fact, the reports were not too bad. They were rejected reports were not too bad. Both the papers were cited by important authors, also later, few important authors. Then, but I was working mostly alone, and I had problems that maybe I have wrong papers are rejected. So, and I contacted several relativists, and one was this man, Professor P.C. Vaidya. Professor P.C. Vaidya is the most noted general relativist of India. People do not know. People think Narlikar. Narlikar actually is cosmologist. He is not general relativist. Professor Vaidya is the most famous relativist. And there is a Vaidya metric. If a star is radiating, that time the space-time structure is given by Vaidya metric. Even now, thousands of papers. And he was a personal level also, he was a very unique person. He was a true Gandhian. He was always handled this cotton field. When he was a vice chancellor of Gujarat University, he would come to the campus on bicycle. So that is a unique case. So I did not know him actually. I had heard about him. I have had interaction on personal level very few. I wrote to him and gave my briefings, and then he replied in a few days. He told that your things look appear sound to me mathematically. So that gave me confidence. And then I thought I would again enlarge it and wrote a long paper. And that long paper, of course, it was submitted, it was in the preprint archive, electronic preprint archive. It took almost 18 months for it to get published. So this got published at the end of December. And that became, of course, world took note of it. Not that everybody who came mostly prepares internet and say bad things. But many got interested, and particularly two American astrophysicists, Gary later and Stanley Robertson, they are very excited. And they started corresponding with me, and we started regular interactions. Then later, this Rudy Shire in Harvard, he was observational astronomer. So he joined. And in one paper, I had a lot of interaction. Final paper was Glendenning. He was nuclear physics, particle physics head in Barcelona. All are would be good. Later, has expired cancer. Robertson is 75 plus. Shire is also 75 plus. Glendenning retired now. They are not active. But together, not only me, almost 27 papers have written. So to cut a long story short, we addressed all the things. Unlike earlier, what Nandika Padmanabhan, even I was country, why no except black holes, which nobody had shown. We showed, why not? Then nobody could tell if not black holes, we are same message from what are those alternatives. Because nobody knew that. That is why I also believed in black. There is no alternative. So first alternative was suggested by me. And then if you are telling something new, what are the paradigms? So paradigm is linked to that there will be strong magnetic field. They will be as stronger than pulsars. Normally I tell black hole astrophysics, there is no charge, no magnetic field, zero magnetic field. And then what are the evidences? evidences also, other people started working for evidences. So to convey you the physics, what actually is the alternative, how we get the alternative, that you have heard that in general relativity, space-time itself gets spent. In the absence of gravity, space-time is like in black, you can see network. But if gravity is there, we cannot see, but space gets spent. Or combination of space and time gets spent. So exact time say space interval is not what is seen externally. If you locally measure locally, then space length is more. That is with the waiting. In time interval between two events is just not so what is seen by two far away clocks. If local clocks measure that time interval is more. That is what can say crudely bending of time. And as a consequence, light also gets bent by gravity. Suppose light is passing by a compact object, so light gets bent. And not only light gets bent, if this compact object is very compact, so effect light can come to R equal to 3m. I said event horizon is 2m. But if it goes to light R equal to 3m, already gravity is so strong, then light can move in circular. This is called photon sphere because photons can create a sphere. So this is the crucial thing in my alternative. The photons vary. So if a star is collapsing up to R equal to 3m, then it is emitting radiation. Now R is equal to 3m, within 3m, radiation get almost trapped because photons instead of going this way, they almost go circular. So heat, quanta, they go almost, they can go this way, that chance is very little. So mostly heat goes inside and inside, heat, quanta, photons, radiation. So then suddenly it becomes very hot. When it becomes very hot, then radiation pressure increases. Radiation pressure is important concept. That if I pass a laser beam, strong laser beam, then the thin foil can be blown away by the pressure of the radiation. So when star is very hot and emitting radiation, there is radiation pressure. So gravity is trying to pull it. Radiation is trying to repulse it. This effect happens. So star is contracting and it is radiating, but when it becomes hot, the radiation quantum and heat quantum is moving inside. So think of this thing. Normally a sunlight star, radiation, gravity is weak, radiation is going from a point in all directions. The neutron star has much stronger gravity, radiation is slightly bent towards the neutron star. And before the black hole forms, it is already very compact, then most of the radiation actually falls towards inside and very little can go out. This is the clue to my alternative. And this I showed that this way it will be so hot inside before black hole form that radiation pressure will counter gravity. So there is instead of collapse, a quasi-static state will be produced. So star would reduce into hot ball. And plasma because you know things are hot, gas is hot, electron can be stripped off. Then so gas is charged. So locally it is charged and that is plasma. And then it can emit radiation, many things, electrical conductivity increases when you have free electrons. So it will become hot ball and that is fire. But we see fire actually when we say light a matchstick. Actually we get heat and then some chemical reaction takes place. And that flame is actually plasma, there is ionized gas reaction taking place that is emitting the light. And when plasma contracts, when a star contracts, there is a thing called if the conducting plasma is there, magnetic lines of course almost gets stuck. And if the star is contracting, then magnetic lines also get contracted. They come together. So as a result, magnetic field increases. Technical name is conservation of magnetic flux, which is dr square magnetic flux going to circular thing. If r decreases, p increases as 1 over r square. And this is the reason that g also I said gm over r square. So if r decreases, g increases. So magnetic field also increases almost as a 1 over r square. That is why a pulsar has trillion times more gravity than Earth, and trillion times more gravity than almost Sun. Magnetic field. Magnetic lines of force come together, and as a result, magnetic field present. So my prediction was that these hot balls of fire will be not just balls of fire, they will ultramagnetic. And we coined the name first. I gave the name eternally collapsing object. Then my other colleagues together. So magnetospheric eternally collapsing object, eco, and then we go. So this is the thing I was telling. It is a and there is a name editor limit. If the star is radiating at editor limit, then by definition it is already known that it can counteract the gravity. And if gravity is counteracted, collapse stops. So this is why we are creating hot ball of plasma. This is like sun instead of a point. That is the true black hole, single point. The entire star is contacting a point, and we are telling it cannot come up to this level because radiation is stopping. This is what Einstein, everybody, Dirac are telling it cannot contact up to 12. Reason nobody has. And we showed this is the reason. Because when it comes close to 12, already it becomes too hot, the radiation counteracts the light. That is first I showed. And then others. This is Dirac did not show, Einstein did not show, Eddington was against it, nobody could show. And this was shown particularly in 3 papers in monthly notices, astronomical, MNRS, monthly notices of Royal Astronomical Society, famous journal, 3 papers are there from 2006 to 2010. In 3 papers, this physics are known. So it is just not anything hand waving or something obscure. Very clearly, you have shown this should happen. So this is a star is collapsing, and even when equal is formed, it is always contracting because it is always this R equal to 2m is the limit where nothing can exist. But it is beyond that, so some little it is always leaking some radiation. And since it is leaking little bit of radiation, it is also contracting at an infinitesimal slow. And what we showed that this process should go on and on at infinite time, hence it is eternally collapsing. That is the this nomenclature comes from there. It will contact all the time. And finally, it is radiating mass. When it radiates mass, E is equal to mc square. Total energy is reducing. And so mass is reducing, m is reducing. And finally, it is asymptotically going towards the m is equal to 0 state. Why m is equal to 0? That once you go to ground state, you have lower energy. Normally, if something falls from here to here, it is a lower energy. Even if the floor crashes, go to lower energy. So ground state, you have lower energy. And it is told that black hole, the singularity is the absolute ground state. Beyond which nothing can happen. Then absolute ground state, you should have absolute lower energy, which is E is equal to 0. E is equal to 0 means then from E is equal to mc square, m is equal to 0. So m is equal to 0 is the total energy. It does not mean the absence of mass. It means gravitational energy is negative, minus g m square by r. This is gravitational attractive energy. Even electrostatic energy is attractive, so negative. Minus u1 u2 by r. Whenever attractive energy it is negative and repulsive energy is positive. Positive charge and repel, one electron proton attracts, that is negative. So it is the negative energy is balancing, offsetting the entire other sources of positive energy. So you have E is equal to 0 state, absolute ground state, and that corresponds to M is equal to 0 state. So we tried to show that M is true black hole solution is correct. But nobody could find then why it is not valid, why it is creating problem. That solution corresponds to m is equal to 0, which we are thinking that m is finite and arbitrary. That is incorrect. It is a sort of limiting solution. In other words, I was talking that whenever you see a solution, suppose I solve a differential equation. In the second order equation, there will be 2 constants. Suppose y is equal to x by t or something. It does not mean anything unless you have found out the integration constants. And integration constant is just you cannot put the differential thing. You have to put physics condition. Physics comes to boundary conditions. Even if you have a solution y is equal to ax plus b, afx plus b, it may mean nothing. It may mean if a is equal to 0, b is equal to 0, it may mean a certain state. And it is possible that both the constants are 0, then y is equal to 0, despite this equation. So this is the analogy. Black hole solution is correct, but actually you can say it comes from the integration constant. For a point mass, this integration constant is 1. So because energy is reducing. For Earth it is not, Sun it is not, galaxy it is large. But when it comes to a point mass, it varies from case to case. Like a boundary condition can vary from case to case. It becomes 0. So that solution is for extended bodies. For point case, that constant is 0. So there is no black hole. And whatever massive objects we are seeing, since they cannot be the true black holes, that is why they must be quasi black holes, which Nandika was telling in 1988, Dirac was telling, and many of them. So this is the physical explanation we offer. This is what I am telling. That ultimately E is equal to mc square, so it tries to go to the absolute ground state, E is equal to 0, and takes infinite time. And if it goes to E is equal to 0, then M should be 0. That all sources of positive energy like this mass energy, heat, internal energy, neutralized by negative gravitational energy. It does not mean the absence of matter. So black hole solution is correct, but still it is illusion because it corresponds to M is equal to 0. Therefore, whatever you see, they are not black holes. In fact, in between some development took place which challenged the black hole paradigm. So what is the gravity? I did not talk no this acceleration due to gravity at black hole. People had suspected of some ideas, but 1981 a paper clearly showed that actually that acceleration due to gravity, this black hole surface, that red line is infinite. And by physics we say that there should not be any infinities in real cases. Mathematically, you can have in real situation, real life, you cannot have anything. No physical parameter can go infinity. That is singular case. And this is a measurable parameter, acceleration due to gravity. If one was sitting close to the black hole surface, would find the acceleration and volume. That itself should have meant the black hole should not form because things cannot go infinite. But it was ignored. Then one of the black hole paradigm support was that the red line was creating a problem. So people told the mathematician, no, I can change new coordinates. There is no physical problem. It is such a smooth place that you can dive inside and you will not feel anything. You just cannot detect it. So it is physically, it is no physical symptom. This was also shown to be wrong. Following year, a paper came. He said that there is a physical quantity which was initially say negative, but when they go to that red line, it becomes 0. And inside it is positive. So one can detect by actually it is observer diving for the black hole can detect that something it is all surface, something similar to that. So these two challenge the black hole paradigm, but already it was so established, so people ignored this thing and they tried to explain it by certain way. So this is what I was telling. E is equal to mc square is 0. That means m is equal to 0. But it is always still possible that this is such a thing I am telling. I may be wrong. I did not know that. Later I found one paper is there 1969 by a French mathematical physicist. So his point was essentially telling the same thing. He is telling whatever the red line was seen when for a sphere, it is not a sphere, it is a point. So sphere becomes a point when radius becomes 0. And radius is r equal to Tm becomes 0 means m is equal to 0. That is what his paper, 1969. Nobody has repeated that. But he himself, a mathematical physicist, he was not much interested in physical aspects. But this paper was there. Before me, proof occurred that real black holes are invisible. And if we ignore, there is another proof actually. This is technicality I will not go. Say, I say black hole center comes from a mass, a point. Now, what is the mass of the point? So, whatever the mass of the point, there is some general relativity quantity, some x, whatever is x, its technical name is there in this figure. That x from physical arguments in that article paper is also there. It should be proportional to the mass of the point. M. But the black hole solution, actually, what I did not tell, they come from vacuum solutions. That you assume that the total space time is vacuum. And if you go back to black hole, even at that center, you will get vacuum x equal to 0. If you work backwards, you start from there actually. X Ricky scalar is 0, x is equal to 0, then you solve the differential equation, you get the value. Now we want to equate this thing. X is one say m point, x is 0. One directly can see m point is 0. It does not require much mathematical knowledge. Left hand side is the same. Right hand side should be same. It means that m point should be same, which we are getting from another. This is our physical argument. So, what we told, right side is the origin of black hole. Star is close to a point, and it's all vacuum. There is no matter, no fire, no magnetic field, and the red sphere is an imaginary sphere. That is the sphere influence. Within it, gravity is so strong that is actually only mathematical. In reality, it's all vacuum. And what we are telling star collapse, it becomes a compact sunlight. So it has plasma, fire, magnetism. And this is, we are calling them BICO, and our prediction was that their ultramagnetized pulse was here. And this was verified millions indirect ways, first by Robertson and Leighton. They wrote paper in Astrophysical Journal way back in 2002. That if we assume that there are many things could not be explained, and if we assume that black holes are not black holes, they are because then we can explain a lot of things in one system. I am not going to that paper. No, but what is the status of magnetic? I said black holes have no magnetic, but they can have around disk of matter around them, which is called accretion disk. It is something like Saturn has rings around them, and most of the astrophysical things they pull matter, and matter is angular momentum. Then they form disk or ring, and that is called accretion disk. An accretion disk matter is there, and there is plasma is there. Whenever the plasma motion is there, some magnetic field is produced. So there is magnetic field in the surrounding of a neutron star, black hole, but this magnetic field is weak. This magnetic field is weak. And we predicted that there should be stronger magnetic field in the vicinity of the black hole, because black hole is not a black hole. Black hole is yes, okay. See, this was a 2002 paper, evidence. So, evidence for influence of magnetic moments of black hole cavities, and black holes have no magnetic field. Since the many papers, several papers have been written, these were 2006 papers in which Harvard astronomer joined us. That it was relatively much more direct proof that some quasars are behaving like because they have intrinsic magnetic fields. And these papers actually become very important. And there was Center for Astrophysics Harvard press release on it. 2006, Center for Harvard press release was there. The black holes could be because new research is showing. And it also carried my name in a small way. They were not ready to give much credit to Indian astrophysicists, but still my name appeared that I gave this name. Actually, I gave this concept that they did not write. They said I gave this name first. Actually, concept is mine, tradition is mine, that they did not mention. But still, Harvard press release, very few research from India has ever been featured in press release. Probably none. Mostly, if you are doing in collaboration with them, say like or something, then it approach. But if you are doing alone, no research from India will be featured approach. This is much later more direct evidence for magnetic field. So this is nature is very important paper, 2015 paper. Dynamically important magnetic field is operating supermassive diamonds. And this is unexpected, so it came in nature. This is science's next famous magnetic telescope array glimpses magnetic field around Milky Way planet. So they, why they become news? Because they are unexpected. They cannot explain it. But once you tell these are because they are explaining. But they will not admit that. They will not admit. They will say black holes and they will vary the hand waving. They will say put a question mark and then wonder valid conclusion. But they will not say it is explained by this, but by black holes. And another indirect evidence is that so black holes are dead bodies. There is nothing, no matter, no matter. So there cannot be flares from black holes. And we are telling sun as flare. From sun, actually fire leaps out. And sometimes protons, electrons, they leak out solar wind is there. The coronal burst, very powerful burst of energetic protons, they come, they appear. Solar terrestrial magnetic field. Their radio communication, they are coronal mass ejection. So, as per our thing, because black holes are also balls of plasma, it can have coronal ejection. And in 2015, one observation is there from a supermassive black hole. As a flare is coming very close to the black hole, it was not explained, so it became news. And then one Indian journalist interviewed me, Indian, and I told that this black hole is not black hole. This is Miko. Like you have eruption from sun flare. So what you are saying is actually flare from this thing. It does not mean they accept it, but things get explained this way. Now many of you Rana Adhikari is coming from LIGO, and in 2015-16 this LIGO gave this result evidence for the detection of gravitational wave. And the publicity focused on black holes. The gravitational waves have actually shown the existence of black holes. That was the paper, and they told. Then I had correspondence in the LIGO, the security. I congratulated them. I told them you have detected maybe gravitational waves. That's a great point. Very good thing. But your claim that you have detected exact black holes, no. There are no exact black holes. Of course, he got upset. He would do this way, that way. And then this email correspondence remained unanswered. Then after 2-3 trips rounds, the theoretician stopped communicating because he had nothing to say. But fortunately, after one month, paper came in physical numerator. With my correspondence stopped, physical numerator, and this is the thing that whether this LIGO signals, they may not be from the lines. What they explain, whatever LIGO is telling, say black hole event horizon, some vibration kind of thing they have seen. They are not no event horizon. I told this photosphere is there. So they are actually vibration of the photosphere. And the photosphere, not only black holes, my Miko would also give any other compact object you will think, which is black hole, they all are photosphere. They all are within 3M, but they all are slightly larger than 2M. The 2M cannot be crossed, but they are within 3M. So they have a photosphere, okay? And they told this show that photosphere, they call photon rays, and they do not prove existence of planets. After 1 month, this paper appeared. Of course, this paper also did not take money. And now, 2017, a new thing appeared. There is echo, gravitational. What is echo? If this hall is longer, sound waves will reflect back. And they will interact, I will see echo. And there will be, the room is very big and sound, there will be echoes from various directions, reverberation. But there will be no wall, there will be no echo. Because sound wave has to reflect from a physical surface. So black holes are colliding and gravitational waves are produced, there will be no echo. Because black holes have no surface, no physical surface. And even if whatever red line is there, it can only absorb, it cannot reflect things. Some analysis, some group of physicists claim that they have seen echo in the gravitational wave. Initially, something was there. Beyond that, there are some signature, there are actually echoes. And since from black holes echoes cannot come, these LIGO black holes are not black holes. They call a name you can search. They again call it exotic compact object. I called it equatorial equilapsing object. They did not take that name. They said same acronym is same equal. Exotic compact objects, and this paper should be explained. See, this was the paper. A recipe for echoes from exotic compact objects. What I am telling that there have to be echoes in gravitational results there. They are not referring to me. Now they are telling that they have found echoes. And if this is correct, it may not be correct because gravitational analysis is very tricky thing. Very tricky thing. If this is correct, it means they are not exact black holes. But they are telling all this, and now people have been working. Even before that, that is gravitational philosophy did not produce black holes. There are 100 papers on this in 2000. But how will they will not tell? They will say some quantum mechanical things and gravity mixture, quantum gravity is doing. How they are not able to show? They are not telling that somebody has shown that that black holes within their context of general relativity. They will do their own way. No, we will not acknowledge any Indian contribution, but we feel that there is no black hole, there are a lot of problems. We do our own way, we will say some quantum gravity, so which you cannot explain properly how it is done. There were 100 papers that were published, and in the context of LIGO, which is supposed to confirm black hole, now new research is coming that black holes are black holes. Not out of my work, out of their analysis. And as I was telling, no, I published my paper in 2004. I communicated with many. So, and after that, in 2004, Hawking was famous for creating black holes. That black holes were 2004. Hawking told that changes his mind about black holes. We told again some quantum things happen. Black holes should not be there. Only approximate black holes, but because of some quantum. How he did not explain. Then 2014 also Nature News Hawking are telling this become big news. Then I was again interviewed. There are no proof like this. But they would not cite me that somebody is telling there are no proof like this. They would not cite me. Scientific American but told that Hawking hasn't solved the black hole paradox just yet. The mystery of black holes and information loss is too thorny for a quick resolution. There is no resolution yet. But I have been telling you no black holes and no paradox. And people have been telling this is a rather new paper, 2016 December. So now you are questioning after 100 years who event horizon exists. It is not me alone. I think 100 papers have been written from various sources. They again he would not cite this. Two event horizon. So people are realizing the problems with the black hole paradigm. They are trying to find alternatives. They are not able to do, but they would not cite me. See, this is famous Sky and Telescope magazine. I think your library will subscribe it. Here the editor wrote a piece and said December end, 2016, December 28. What is inside a black hole? You are telling a black hole is there for 100 years. If you are telling this building is there, I must be no building is inside. Outside the sky is an atmosphere. And so we do not know what is black hole. Wormholes, alternate universes, time worms, we have all heard about present theories. About what happens inside a black hole. What's the real story? The real short answer is physics don't know. If I say I do not know anything about this house there, then it will be atmosphere if you see extension. So they realize that so much problem to that discussion. But they will not clearly admit. And they are trying to find alternatives because they are not able to find alternatives by this way. They will not cite. So this debate is kept alive, but it has a new dimension. Many of the questions. So that and some paradigm has started falling. Because now many mainstream questions like this. There are 100 papers, many mainstream they are telling mirror. So one can think that this is what Galileo, who is considered father of modern science, in questions of science, authority of thousands is not worth the humble reasoning of a certain individual. This looks nice quote, but in reality it is not so. Actually, a humble individual will be crossed in this commercial condition. And the authority of actually the main matters they control all papers, journals, editors, which will be published, which will be focus of BBC News, which will be Discovery Channel, they all determine which will go to textbook, they determine. So it is, although it is nice, it is not correct. The authority actually matters. So to some extent, when this kind of thing is there, it is a hard effect. So leaders are telling, so others are almost blindfolded, they are following it. Then life becomes easier. Then you do not question. Then mostly things go like this. Not only in science, in many ways. Next. So then you are crazy and you are crazy. So this is you are from technology. You know this man, Steve Jobs. The ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones. So let me see if we can change the world. And whether the people are acknowledging Indians or not, the fact remains that if you go Indian origin acronym astronomy, it is all going to go. This is when Google search I found Indian origin astronomy, this acronym is all going to go. There will be live American. There will be something like Chandrasekhar Mas, that is not that is old story, that is not acronym. But Indian origin theoretical astronomy is not the acronym, despite all these things. Google search. Next. And so I have written this book, hopefully it will be published this year, The Rise and Fall of the Black Planet, and I'm sure all of you will buy it. Thank you.
Any questions?
Any point not clear in the law, without hesitation. Basic questions, any kind of question.
It's with that black quasi black hole keeps emitting radiation, and that's what Mars experiences. So, shouldn't the 3M radius should also decrease along with that? So,
It also decreases, it carries, like if I have shortened my hair, it also goes down. So, whatever the current mass, so 3M sphere is there, photon sphere is around it.
yeah. So, should we be able to observe the changes of the radius, the event horizon distance?
These are extremely astrophysical effects. No, there are billions of years they are changing. You cannot do it.
Takes a lot.
Even sun's radius is changing all the time.
Does time exist inside a black hole? Quasi black hole.
But
Does time exist inside a quasi black hole?
there is no such time axis, a particular. This is only mathematical way special relativity puts, and that has got nothing to do with quasi black hole, or moon or rock. Any event in a special relativity, there is no time axis. There is length, breadth, and height, three physical dimensions, and we combine time mathematically to create a fourth dimension. That has got nothing to do with black hole or that is a mathematical way of describing.
Sir, can you explain in little detail how this radiation pressure arises? Like from a neutron star, we know the basic pressure. Then after that, how this radiation pressure arises?
Radiation pressure is very simple. No, you are doing astronomy, you should have known it. See, H nu is their photon energy and momentum is H nu by C. That is radiation pressure. So if light is going, it is imparting momentum H nu by C.
But at that time, it is not emitting any light. No, there is no any kind of energy.
If it is not emitting any light, then there is no. I am telling there is, even in this room, radiation is there. There is radiation pressure.
You said in the 3M radius,
I said when it moves into 3M radius, radiation starts getting trapped. Now, once radiation is trapped, it is interacting with the stellar matter, and radiation is going this way, that way. But this part of it is going outward, still not completely trapped. And then whatever is going outward, that is creating outward pressure. Like if I have a laser beam here and put a foil, there a foil can be blown away. And for a single photon, photon is going h nu by c is the momentum. Pressure is nothing but imparting momentum. So gas pressure is here, that is the air molecules are exerting some momentum on the world.
But the time which he has asked, so I wanted to extend that question that there's an energy time uncertainty principle which says that I need to get that T should be some finite point. So when E goes to zero, so how do we explain the time or time variation?
So E is equal to 0, that is a classical result. Classically, you can have E is equal to 0. But if you think some quantum gravity thing is happening, that E is equal to 0 state also should never react. In fact, as per quantum gravity, it is really valid, no black hole should be there. It is following your question because that ground state should not be reached. No singularity will happen. And that they admit, the quantum gravity people. How they do not know. They admit that singularity may be avoided because of quantum gravity. And what I am telling that it is avoided already by radiation pressure. And E is equal to 0 state is never attained because eternally goes. So if you know NCR circuit, you see the current is increasing. Finally, value actually never attains that finally where it goes exponentially, asymptotically. It never attains that finally, it is always direct. After infinite time. When if something happens after infinite times, means in a strict sense, it never happens. So E is equal to 0 state is never attained. Even by classical, the head state is eternally. Question?
So is it like only if quantum-based explanation, quantum physics explanation would only be accepted, like relativistic theory, classical solution is sort of less fashionable?
Sorry?
Is it only possible through pure quantum mechanical?
No. See, in one way, if the radiation pressure is concept of quantum mechanics. The h nu by c, h nu is actually quantum mechanics. H nu by c is a quantum mechanics formula. But when other people tell that is a quantum gravity, that is quantum mechanism, gravity mixed together in theory. So gravity is different quantized, gravity has not been quantized. Then also these basic rules, basic tenets should be valid. And the quantum gravity, because of the uncertainty kind of thing or something, that no point should be found. But nobody knows how. Nobody knows. Most of the quantum gravity theories have singularities.
Sir, what about the enhancement in the electric field? You mentioned the magnetic field is enhanced, but plasma will be having electric field too. So would that be enhanced as well?
No, see, magnetic field is a static thing. It is happening like Abhas magnetic field. Sun is magnetic field. And if magnetic field rotates, then depending on whatever the magnetic field, and basically it is a V cross B kind of thing, there will be enhanced electric field also. If it does not rotate, only magnetic field. Basically, V cross B kind of thing, electric field is present, V cross B. So V is more, and B magnetic field is more, you have enhanced electric field also.
Maybe one more question. Anyone has?
You are in which standard? You are in fourth standard. You already talked about time. So your fourth standard is talking about fourth dimension.
So only if an object that passes